Hi, welcome to a Yoga with Dan session. Today we're going to be spending some time focused on a sequence really targeted towards helping people get up and down from the floor. This came up, conversation with a friend of mine, and did a little research looking for some good videos around this, and decided I'd make my own. And this is a sequence of around 10, 12 poses that really target the hips, legs, the parts of the body we really need to work on to be able to have a good, relatively easy way to get down and then get up from the floor. And you'll also see that my friend here, the chair, is going to be helping us along the way. So if you need a chair, nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we just need props to help us get better. And so feel free to have a chair handy, especially if you struggle getting up and down from the floor. So with that, let's get started in our sequence of poses. And I hope you enjoy this. This pose is standing pose. So to come into this pose, all we have to do is stand up nice and tall. Try and bring our feet in so that our feet are parallel and they're about the width of our hips. So anything that's close to that. And then take a moment to stand up nice and tall. And we're going to do this standing pose for about a minute. And I want you to really focus in maybe on your breath, maybe on your feet, feeling your feet in contact with the floor. Taking some nice slow breaths. And I include a standing pose here at the beginning of our practice. Just because it's good to stand up nice and tall. Standing and not moving and not being active is not something we do very often, so it forces us to sort of encounter that stillness. Notice how we breathe, notice how we stand. Just trying to be present in this moment, feeling your feet in contact with the floor. Maybe you're shifting your weight back and forth, side to side, trying to find sort of that steady balance. It's elusive, the balance, sort of like trying to stand in one place. I think for most people, you'll find your weight's going to be shifting slightly around. Doesn't matter. Just trying to find a nice, strong standing position, soft toes. We'll take another couple breaths here. And then to close out this standing pose, take one nice long big inhale. And let it all out. And release. Just sort of shake everything out. And relax. Okay, our next pose. We come into that standing pose we were just in. So our feet are parallel, nice and tall, standing up straight. And then inhale, bring your arms straight out in front of you. So your fingers are reaching forward, feet are still strongly planted on the floor. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, sink your hips down, bend your knees. Find a nice steady breath. And as we go through these poses, you'll notice that most of the poses will have both a stillness, sort of a holding position, and then we will also do it in a more active movement version. So here we are in this squat pose, bending our knees, sinking our hips, reaching the fingers forward. And then slowly inhale, coming back up to standing. And then continue on your way up, inhaling, coming up onto the balls of your feet. Lifting your heels off the mat, reaching up towards the ceiling. Hold this pose for several breaths here. If you fall out or come down, just come back up. Doesn't matter. Nice steady breath here. And slowly release, bringing the heels to the floor, bringing the arms back in front of you. Now I'm going to switch to a side view. You obviously don't have to move. But here I am in my standing pose. And now we're going to do these poses with a little more action and activity. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips. And then inhale, press up, straighten the legs, bring the arms up overhead, come up onto the balls of your feet. And then exhale, lowering the heels, bringing the arms down, coming back down into this squat pose. Inhale, back up, coming back up onto the balls of the feet. And then exhale, back down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back down. Inhale up. I'm going to do it one more time. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. And then returning back to our starting position. Arms to your sides. Back to standing. And then relax, shake everything out. Okay, our next pose is going to be a high lunge pose. And this is a pose that for many people really is enhanced by using a chair or something to hold on to. But I'm going to turn to the side here. I'm going to pull my chair in here to demonstrate. So a high lunge pose looks like this. Back leg is straight, front leg is bent. This knee, you want to be mostly over the ankle. And we're going to start with our hands on our hips. So if you're doing this pose without holding onto a chair, you want to be sure your shoulders are over your hips. So your back, there's a tendency to lean forward in this pose, so we want to try and keep the shoulders back. If you're using a chair for this pose, we want to avoid this leaning forward. So in that case, I'm going to come in closer to the chair. All right, so I can keep my hands on the chair, but I can also keep my shoulders over my hips. So I'm going to keep my nice straight back. Feet are parallel. You're on the ball of your back foot. Hands on the hips, hands on the chair, whichever is better for you. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, sink the hips down. Trying to bend this front knee a little bit more. Straightening that back, keeping that back leg straight. And either way, if your hands are on the chair or on your hips, you're just going to keep breathing, keep sinking the hips a little bit further, trying to find as much depth into this pose. We'll do the holding version here. Taking another couple breaths here. And then to come out of this pose, whether you're holding onto the chair or holding your hips, either way, you're going to bring your weight forward. You're going to take an inhale, bring all your weight forward, and step to standing. And then we just turn around, step the other foot back. So we're coming into high lunge on the other side. Feet are parallel. Back leg is straight. Front knee is bent. Back is upright. So again, we come back. We take some nice, deep, slow breaths. We're going to keep pressing the back heel towards the floor. We're going to bend this knee a little bit more, trying to sink our hips, bringing a little more depth into the pose. Nice steady breathing. One more breath here. And then again, on the inhale, we're going to bring our weight forward, take an inhale, and step back to standing. So we've done both versions holding the pose. We're going to come back now to the other side. So right foot forward, left foot back. So we're coming back into our high lunge. And this time, instead of holding the pose, we're going to do some dips of this leg. We take a nice inhale, exhale, dip the knee down, back up. We're going to do this 5 times. Maybe you feel good in this pose, you want to do it more. It's really up to you. Do it as many times as you feel comfortable doing. Once you've done however many you're going to do, bring that weight forward just like we did, step and back to standing. Come to the other side, left foot forward, right foot back. Come back to our starting position. I'll do this one holding the chair. Take an inhale, exhale, dip. So again, we're going to keep that back leg straight on the in as we come back up. We're bending it to go down. One more. And then again, to come back, we inhale, bring the weight forward, step back to standing. And we come to our standing position, shake everything out, and relax. All right, our next pose is going to be a low lunge. So we're going to have to get down to the floor to do this pose. And if you struggle to get down to the floor, this is a good chance to use the chair. So we can hold on to the chair, use that to bend this back leg. So we sort of come into this high lunge that we were in. We're going to bend that knee just like we did, hold on, and we come down to the floor. We're going to come to our hands and knees into a tabletop pose. Some people may find that the floor is too hard, and so we can use a blanket for our knee in this low lunge pose. Either way, use the blanket or not, it's your choice. The low lunge is going to look like this. So we have our front leg is bent, knee over ankle. Back foot is straight back, toes are straight back. Shoulders over hips, so we're keeping our back upright. We're not leaning forward. So this is our starting position. Bring your hands to your hips, sit up, use your feet to press down into the floor. Lift up. And as you press your feet and lift, sort of feel a little bit of a lift coming up from your belly button through the hips. Maybe you'll feel some sensation here in the front of the quad, feeling that stretch. Maybe you feel like reaching your arms up towards the ceiling. That gives a little more intensity into the stretch. Maybe you feel unstable and you want to hold on to the chair. That's perfectly fine. Bringing the chair in as a nice secure place to hold yourself up. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're just going to take some nice, big, long, slow breaths. Whether you're there or here, wherever they are, taking some inhales and exhales. And just breathing, feeling the sensations that exist here in your body. Taking another couple breaths here. And then to come out of this pose, you can grab the chair or bring your hands to the floor either way. Whatever helps you bring your leg back. Let's come back to this tabletop position. And then we'll step the left foot forward, coming into our low lunge on the other side. So again, knee over ankle, toes straight back here as much as you can get. Hands on your hips, hands up, hands on the chair. The key to these poses is really in your grounding position. So you really want to make sure your feet are strong. Where your arms end up really is just a question of kind of what's available to you. Finding a nice steady breath here. Remember to just breathe and exhale, inhale and exhale. Pressing the feet down, lifting up a little bit out of the hips. Noticing where you feel sensation, just allowing that awareness to be there. Taking another breath or two here. And then to come out, we're going to come back to our tabletop position. So bringing the hand down to the floor, maybe bringing a hand down a little lower in the chair. And we are back to tabletop. We've got a nice flat back. And then, so that's the holding version of this low lunge. Now we're gonna bring a little more activity into this low lunge. And we're going to start by, we walk our hands a little bit over to the side and step the left foot forward. Inhale, bring the arms either here, here, or here. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the floor, coming back to tabletop. Moving the hands over to the side, stepping the right foot forward, and then again, bringing the arms up to wherever you're comfortable. Exhaling back down, back to tabletop. And we're going to do this 5 times. So got 4 to go. Moving with your breath, exhaling, coming back, inhaling, stepping the foot, bringing the arms up to wherever they belong, wherever you want them to be, exhaling back down. We're just going to move, inhaling up, exhaling back down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And if you find it's a little hard to move with the breath, sort of let it go. Just move with the action, breathe as you need to. All right? Got 2 more to do. And again, you can do as many as you feel seems appropriate for you. One more. And this is really going to get the hips having to move and activate here, bringing the hips back and forth, bringing the leg forward and back. Last one up. Back down. And then we come back to our tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over your ankle, over the knees. And just take a couple breaths here. And then gently relax and shake out your arms. Okay, we come back to tabletop. This is going to be our starting position for this pose. Shoulders over your wrists, feet pointing straight back. Nice flat back. Gaze is straight down, so the crown of the head is facing forward. And we're going to come into what's called bird dog. And in this pose, we're going to reach our right arm forward, thumb up, reach the left leg back, and we're going to hold this pose. We're going to try and be as steady and still as we can, holding this pose. Nice steady breath. And this pose really forces us to engage our core here to bring stability into the pose. So just finding some nice steady breathing. Taking another breath here. And then coming back down, bringing hand and knee back, coming back to tabletop. And then we go right to the other side, holding that pose, coming back. So left arm forward, thumb up, right leg back. We're in this steady pose. Breathing in and out. One more breath here. And then bring your hand back down, bring your knee down, back to tabletop. So, just a couple modifications if you need them. If you really struggle trying to hold this and with both arm and leg extended, you can try the pose with just an arm extended. You can try the pose with just a leg extended. So those are all variations that you can do. And then you'll see in this, so we just did a holding pose, we're going to do a more active pose, and we'll do another modification there. So, coming back to our tabletop, we're going to move with our breath this time. So we inhale, bring our arm and leg out. Exhale, bringing the hand and knee back down. Inhale to the other side. Exhale, back down. Inhale, back out. Exhale, down. So we're just moving from side to side here, making us move. You can move whatever pace your breath wants to move at. It's your choice. And then we come back to our tabletop. And again, you can do that as many times as you want. If that's a little hard, you can do this. Reach one arm, bring the arm back in, reach a leg, back, back down, other leg, back down, other arm, back to tabletop. Repeat. So, lots of ways to vary this pose, forcing the body to work however your body is ready to do this. And I will stop here, come back to tabletop, take a couple breaths, and then come up off your hands, shake out your arms, and relax. So coming back to a tabletop position, our next pose is going to be a forearm plank. So we come down onto our forearms, interlace our fingers, and then from here we step one leg back, curl the toes under, step the other leg back, and we're in our forearm plank. We're going to hold this pose for about a minute, maybe about 10 breaths, nice long slow breaths. Breathing in and out. Reaching the crown of the head forward, pressing the heels back, bringing a little more length into the body as you do that. If you find it's too hard to hold this pose and you need to come out, you just come down and then make your way back in whenever you're ready. You could also do this pose just with the knees down, 2 toes curled, toes pointed. That makes it a little bit easier. So you have some choices here. This is a great pose to strengthen your front side of your body, the legs, the core, the arms, shoulders. It's going to put a lot of energy into your body here trying to hold this pose. take another breath or so here. And then slowly lower your knees and your belly coming down. Keep your toes curled under. So that was a hold. Now we're going to do this pose and move. So we're going to inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. I'm going to do this maybe 5 times, maybe 7 times, maybe 10 times, whichever makes sense for you, your body. You'll know when this is too much work. We'll do one more here. And then lower down. And then we'll press back up. Come off our arms, shake out the arms a little bit. And relax. Okay, we just did a forearm plank, strengthening our core here, front body. We're going to do now what's called a cobra pose, and that's really going to be focusing a little more on the back body. So I'm going to move this blanket out of the way, and we come all the way down, and we bring our forehead to the mat. Hands are back by our low ribs so that our elbows are bent. And then take an inhale, lift the head just a little bit off the mat. And then as you breathe here, you're going to start to lift your head, lift your shoulders, your chest coming up kind of as high off the floor as you can. Feeling the rise and fall of the body as you breathe here. You're going to feel the back body working. And then maybe, if you feel it's available, you can try lifting your palms off the floor, trying to keep the head, chest, and shoulders lifted as much as possible. And then bring your hands back down. Bring your hands forward. Let your head rest on your hands. And take a couple breaths here and relax. And then slowly press on up. Come up on your knees. Shake everything out. And relax here. Then we're going to come back down. And come back into this pose. So our forehead is down. Hands by the low ribs. So this is our starting position. And then inhale, come on up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. You can try this by lifting the hands off the mat. Whichever way you want to do it. Really, it's about strengthening the back body, allowing the back to get nice and strong. One more breath, one more time up. And exhale down. And then slowly press back up, coming back all the way up on our knees. Shake the arms again. Take a couple slow breaths. and relax. On our knees. And we're going to come back into this low lunge. So this is really a pose to help us work coming back up from the floor. And this is a great pose to practice with the chair. So I'm going to pull the chair in. I'm on my knees here. And really, the best way is to start by coming back into this low lunge. And you have some choices here. You can try just curling the toes under, pressing up, coming to standing. Maybe you're going to grab the chair, press up that way. Okay. Another way would be to bring your hands down to the floor. Right? Maybe rotate a little bit, curl those toes under, coming into a squat and pushing up from the squat. Either way, we want to practice this a few times on each side. So if you're using the chair, you're going to press up, come down, back down. Press up, back down. If you're practicing this way, same thing. So we're really practicing our squats. And we switch sides. And you might find that it's really different from one side to the other as to your ability to come to a standing position. It's a little bit harder for me on my left side. All right, so maybe I use the chair on this side. And then again, maybe I try this, come up into a squat pose, press up that way, coming back down. So I'm going to do that maybe 5 times. However many times really feels right for you. You can even alternate side by side. So as you can see, we're working really coming into a high lunge, down to a low lunge. You can even try and come all the way down to tabletop, right? And then you come back up, low lunge, high lunge, step, high lunge, low lunge with a dip, back to tabletop. So do that 5 times maybe, or 10 times, however many feels right for you. And then we come back to a standing position. Shake it out, shake out the legs. And relax. Last pose we're going to do now is going to be another standing pose. And so we come into a standing position, feet parallel, feet hip width apart, nice and tall, strong. Feet pressing up, pressing down on the floor, feeling the back body reach up, lengthen, letting the head reach up towards the ceiling. And just settle here, taking some nice, long, slow breaths. And allow yourself here as you breathe in the standing pose for just a moment. Noticing how it feels, how your body feels. Noticing whether the sequence was easy, hard. Maybe some was easy, some was hard. Just allowing yourself to take a little inventory, noticing how your body responded to doing those poses. Take another breath or so here. And then shake out the arms, shake out the legs. And relax. Thanks for joining me for this sequence of poses. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. Be well.